All right, let's talk about artificial intelligence. You hear the term AI everywhere, right? Today, we're going to cut through all the hype and get right down to what it is, how it actually works, and most importantly, why it matters to you. You ever just stop and think about how your phone recognizes your face in like a split second, even if you're in a dark room or wearing a hat? Or what about your streaming service? How does it dig through thousands of movies and shows and just know that you're in the mood for that one specific thing? And that chatbot you talk to for customer service, how does it seem to get what you're asking, even when you have a typo or phrase things kind of weirdly? Well, the answer to all of that, it's AI. And believe me, you are using it way more than you probably realize. It's the silent partner working behind the scenes, from the products you see online to the directions you get on your map. It's totally woven into our digital lives. Okay, so what is this stuff really? When you strip away all the sci-fi movies and the killer robots, what are we actually talking about? It's not about conscious machines, not yet anyway. The reality is actually a lot more practical and, in some ways, even more interesting. At its most basic level, AI is all about building systems that can do things that usually take a human brain. We're talking about using complex math and code to classify information, predict what might happen next, or even generate totally new ideas, all in a way that mimics how we think. Now, here's the thing. AI isn't just one monolithic concept. It's more like a big family of different technologies, each with its own special skill. You've got machine learning for finding patterns, computer vision for seeing the world, and natural language processing for understanding our words. And that's not all. It also covers things like organizing information, making logical decisions, and even building robots that can interact with the physical world. They all kind of work together. Okay, let's zoom in on one of those in particular, machine learning. Because honestly, this is the engine that's driving most of the AI you see out there. It's the whole process that lets a machine get better and better at a task without a human having to write code for every single possible outcome. Right, but that's the big question, isn't it? How does a machine learn anything? It's not like it's going to school. Well, it all boils down to one thing: data. A machine learns by sifting through massive amounts of it, spotting patterns, and tweaking its own code based on what it finds. And there are three main ways we can guide that process. The two most popular methods are supervised and unsupervised learning. Think of it this way. On the left, you've got supervised learning. This is kind of like teaching a kid with flashcards. You show the AI a million pictures of cats, each one labeled cat, and eventually it learns what a cat looks like. But on the right, you've got unsupervised learning. This is more like being a detective. You just dump a huge pile of unlabeled data in front of the AI and say, find the interesting patterns in here. And then there's this third really cool method called reinforcement learning. This is basically learning by trial and error, but on a massive scale. An AI or agent tries something. If it's a good move, it gets a virtual reward. A bad move, a punishment. After doing this millions or billions of times, it learns the absolute best way to do something. This is exactly how AI got so good at super complex games like chess. So when you take these learning methods and apply them to human language, you get something called natural language processing, or NLP for short. This is the absolute magic that lets a computer read, understand, and even write like a person. It's the critical bridge between how we talk and how a computer thinks. And NLP is everywhere. I mean, it's the tech that's sorting your email into spam or not spam. It's what analyzes thousands of customer reviews to see if people are generally happy or angry. It summarizes long articles for you, translates languages instantly, and yep, it's the powerhouse behind those amazing chatbots everyone's talking about. So to get a machine to actually understand all the nuances of our language, sarcasm, poetry, jokes, well, the models have had to get big, like mind-bogglingly big. And we usually measure that size in something called parameters. 1.7 trillion. That's a number that's hard to even wrap your head around, but that's the estimated number of parameters in GPT-4. You can think of a parameter as a tiny little knob or dial that the AI can adjust as it learns. So with 1.7 trillion of them, it can capture an incredible amount of detail about language and the world. And this timeline right here really puts the speed of this into perspective. I mean, look at this. In the 90s, we're talking thousands of parameters. Fast forward to 2018, the first GPT had 117 million. Impressive, right? But just 5 years later, GPT-4 is more than 10,000 times bigger. This is what we mean by explosive growth. It's this sheer scale that allows an AI to do things that felt like total science fiction just a few years ago. But, and this is a really big but, with that kind of explosive power, you also get some really significant risks. As these tools get built into everything, we have to be super clear about how they can cause harm, whether it's on purpose or completely by accident.
Take algorithmic bias, for example. This is a huge one. A 2018 study looked at facial recognition systems and found something pretty shocking. For light-skinned men, the error rate was less than 1%. But for dark-skinned women, the same systems were wrong almost 35% of the time. Why? Simple. The data it was trained on was biased. Garbage in, garbage out.
And then you have the stuff that's intentionally malicious. I'm talking about deepfakes. Fake but incredibly realistic audio or video. We saw a really scary example of this in January 2024. Voters in New Hampshire got a robocall with a perfect deepfake of a political candidate's voice telling them not to vote. That's a direct assault on our elections, powered by AI. And here's the wild part. Even when no one is trying to be malicious, these models can just make stuff up. For real. It's a problem called hallucination. A recent study asked different AIs legal questions, and the results were staggering. They hallucinated, meaning they gave wrong or nonsensical answers, up to 88% of the time. This just shows we have a long way to go on reliability. So when you've got bias, deepfakes, and hallucinations, it's no surprise that there's now this global race to figure out the rules of the road for AI. Everyone, from governments to companies, is scrambling to put some guardrails in place for this technology that's moving at lightning speed. Right now, we're seeing two major philosophies taking shape. Over in the US, you have the AI Bill of Rights. Think of it as a set of strong suggestions or guidelines for companies to follow. But then you look at the EU, and they've gone a different route with the AI Act. It's a binding law that classifies AI by risk, banning some uses outright and putting strict rules on others. It's a classic debate, flexibility versus certainty. And that really brings us to the biggest question of all. At the end of the day, these AI systems are learning from us. They're learning from our books, our art, our conversations, our biases, all of our data. So as they keep learning from this giant digital reflection of humanity, we're left with a pretty profound question to think about. AI is learning from us. What exactly do we want to teach it?